This week we're helping a new homeowner who's in over her head with her kitchen renovation.
Looked like they were right in the middle of a project and they dropped their tools and walked out and went to lunch
break.
I've been helping homeowners improve their home for a lot of years. They think it's intimidating, but it actually can be a lot of fun.
And we're here to help. Dad's the expert, but I've learned a few things along the way.
Practical, realistic home improvement information is what today's homeowner is all about.
This house belongs to first-time homeowner Dawn Nelson, who bought it just 6 months ago.
It's my first home, so I wanted something that I could grow into, kind of put my mark on it, and it has great bones. I wanted to take down one wall that separated my three main living areas, so my dining, kitchen, and living room. I was very gung-ho and excited as a new homeowner. I took out drywall, a load-bearing wall that was a supportive wall of the roof of my house, structurally integral to my home. So that was something that I did not need to tackle myself. I did want an open floor plan, but that was a little more than I bargained for. I reached out to professionals to help me finishing out the wall, putting in a beam. That really bit into my overall budget for the other projects I wanted to do. Like, I realized the tile floor, it left a huge gaping hole in the middle of my tile floor that I did not anticipate. I'm starting to kind of get in a little over my head on some of the projects, but I'm pushing through.
Hey.
Hi.
How you doing, Dawn?
Come on in.
Hi. This is my daughter, Chelsea.
Nice to meet you.
It actually looked like they were right in the middle of a project and they dropped their tools and walked out and went to lunch.
Lunch break.
A little drywall work over there. We've got plenty of materials to work with. Maybe this won't be that hard after all to get it to completion.
I've got plenty more to show y'all, so come on in.
Project number one, maybe?
Wow.
Yes, so this is probably the biggest eyesore. You see this from every door that leads into my house. This was where the main load-bearing wall, obviously in the middle of my house, was, and when we took it out, there was a cabinet here we didn't realize was gonna take out a big chunk of the tile. I did get really lucky, and the previous homeowner had left just enough tile, I think, that I could patch that floor, so we'll see.
What else you got?
Well, my pantry is actually almost finished, but I definitely need a door and some shelving in there. The pantry it's a little unfinished, maybe more than a little bit. And I have a microwave. I don't know if you can see my lovely construction pile.
Oh, you already got it purchased.
I've got it purchased. I just don't know how to install it or vent it to the outside or any of that good stuff.
And I see you have a little bit of painting to do here.
Just a little bit. Ceilings, walls, everything. So yeah. I really like the kitchen. It's just kind of one-dimensional. I have a great space to work in. It's all in good condition. I think it could use a little something, like a little bit more of a pop. And I've always wanted a backsplash in my kitchen. I think that could really elevate it. It just seems like it's a lot of space to put a backsplash in, and I'm a little overwhelmed.
When we return to start work, Dawn has some help.
Are y'all ready to get started?
All right.
Yeah. My help this week is my mom. I think we're a really good team. We're a good duo. We're both, how do I put this? Strong-willed. She might be even a little bit more gung-ho than me, because I tend to be the one who's like, well, you know, maybe that's a load-bearing wall, I don't know. And she's like, no, don't worry about it. We'll just take it out and it'll work out.
The molding that you have right there, instead of just piecing in a little piece there, we'll go back to the next seam or put a whole piece in. That'll tie it together. And we can even use some of your inventory.
We have plenty of that.
There's a lot of painting to be done here. So tying this trim together, a little bit of drywall work, I think that's the first thing we need to do.
While Stephanie starts removing those baseboards, I start patching drywall. And since Dawn is eager to learn, I give her a chance.
How would you go about patching that?
I'd start with some drywall.
Well, that's right. Now, a lot of times you would put a piece of wood behind it and put the drywall on it, but you can do what we call a hot patch.
So how does one create a hot patch?
Well, basically cutting a piece of drywall a little larger than what you need.
Right.
And then score it on the back side to represent the piece that you do need.
Right.
And then you can peel that extra drywall away. And then basically you have the drywall tape that you need already built in.
Nice.
Works great. I remember the day I invented that.
Yeah, Mr. Hot Patch over here.
Yeah. What we'll do is put a little around here that we're going to bed that into it. Okay, put it in place.
Okay.
Okay, now
It was a lot like icing a cake, I would say. Maybe that's too simplified, but I was really happy learning that skill because, you know, you're always going to end up with holes in your drywall as a homeowner.
Cool.
Look at there, it's disappearing already.
Yeah.
And it looks great. The finish is awesome.
Look at you.
Whenever you use power tools, particularly one that creates a lot of dust, it's really important to always wear safety goggles and a dust mask. The problem is when you wear them in combination, this typically happens. Whenever you exhale, you fog up the goggles to a point where you can't quite see. And what a lot of people do is they just take them off, they don't wear them at all. And that's a mistake because you can get an injury in your eye. So here's the solution. And all you need is some shaving cream. Regular old shaving cream. Just put a little dollop on the inside and outside, and with your fingers, just rub it around. It looks like that's a lot of shaving cream, and it is, but you want a good coating on there. And then we're gonna wipe off the excess with a clean cloth. And to tell you the truth, I'm not even sure why this works, except there's something gets left behind on the lenses. Maybe it's the lanolin or the soap that keeps these fog-free. Now, it doesn't stay fog-free forever, but it certainly lasts through the end of the day. There you go. Put the glasses back on. Dust mask. Watch this. It's almost magical. Now when I exhale, they stay crystal clear so you can work safely.
Simple Solutions is brought to you by Type Bond, the pro's advantage.
It looks so good.
Coming up,
I like it. We're high-fiving. Bear's the one that did it.
right?
Dawn's in over her head with her kitchen renovation, so we're trying to get it back on track. Dawn's mom, Stephanie, is also helping, and Chelsea is showing her how to reuse the old trim.
So you grab hold and then you rock it back on the round part.
Okay. Oh,
And it comes
okay.
right out.
That's easy.
You want to pull the nails out of the back of your molding so that you aren't messing up the holes that have been puttied already and painted over. This just gives you a lot cleaner look.
On the dining room ceiling, there's one last drywall issue to address.
I love using ceiling medallions to add a little pizzazz with your light fixture, but in this case, it saves us a little bit of drywall work because we're covering up those ugly holes. So all we're gonna do is glue it up there, and then we'll caulk around it, and the light fixture will hold it in place too once we put it back in.
Putting in the medallion was such an amazing solution to that problem, something that had been such a huge eyesore for me.
Okay, you look down underneath it and see if it looks centered on that.
Perfect, right there, you did it.
Once the medallion's in place, all we have to do is rewire the light fixture and attach it back up into the ceiling box. Yeah. Yay! Whoop!
Not only was it an easy fix, it also added character, and it just looks really cool visually. I love it.
You know, every pantry should be a little different depending on how you're using it. So we have to find out exactly how she's going to use it. Now, you've been staring at this pantry long enough, you probably know exactly what you want.
I have an idea, yeah.
Okay, are you going to use it for more than just food?
Yes, I would really like to be able to store some brooms, maybe a mop.
All right, we can bring a board out at a 1x12, which would be a little over 11 inches. So we have that coming out, and we have enough depth here on either side. We actually could bring a 1x6, a series of shelves, canned goods and such.
Nice.
But if you want something for brooms or mops, we actually could leave it off on this one side, put some kind of bracket so that it hangs there.
Perfect. I'm excited.
And we even have your door. Yes,
dog.
A door, a real door.
While I lay out the location for the pantry shelves, Bear arrives with the crown molding, and Chelsea and Dawn cut the shelf cleats.
So you saw I measured off of this end, which means we need our saw blade to be on that side of the mark. Yeah!
Woo!
Look at that.
I'm a huge fan of the power tools, and that might be a little scary for the crew here, but I feel so powerful using that miter saw. I can get used to that. Maybe I'm gonna put that on my Christmas list.
Nice.
We have another adventurous one here. I think she will grab any tool, anything, and give it a try. She's fearless.
I've never used a nail gun before, and
Now pull trigger.
it's powerful.
You got this. I can go sit in my truck.
It's in the genetics. My mom and I both get that look in our eye when we're working with the power tools.
Speaking of Stephanie, she's helping Bear install the crown molding to tie the rooms together.
Bear is special. He can just look at you and you know that, oh, that was great, or you know, you ain't doing it right. And when you're not doing it right, Bear will just smile and he'll be like, roll his eyes. You're like, okay, just tell me what to do.
It looks so good. I like it, we're high-fiving. Bear's the one that did it. I know, right? This is like magic. I'm trying to figure this out. You like the saw, I like the nail gun. Christmas.
I'm thinking we need a nail gun, we need some saws, definitely the miter saw, we're really in love with that.
Yeah, I think their Christmas wish list is getting a little bit bigger with us being here.
Add a few tools to it. And finally, we're ready for the pantry door to go in.
Ta-da!
See?
Wow.
Simple pleasures, I'm telling you, simple pleasures. You know what time it is now?
Paint
Little
time.
homework time. Just start at the ceiling and work your
Work your
way
way
down.
down.
We'll be back in the morning and we'll tackle some other things. We'll get a microwave in over there. And the main thing is figuring out what we can do with that
this
hole
floor.
in the floor.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out. Good luck.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
All right.
As everyone's packing up and Danny hands us the paintbrush and says, good luck, you know, you got a lot of walls to paint. He wasn't wrong. Here we go.
I am always looking for ways to breathe new life into old pieces of furniture, and I think I found it right here in the paint aisle. Now, this is the Varathane Super Glaze, and what this is, it's a two-part epoxy that you mix together, and then you pour on the surface, and it looks dynamite. Now, I've got some tools that you would need. You need to, of course, get some measuring cups, and you also need some plastic spreaders. But when you do mix it up, depending upon your size, you'll see back here on the back of the box the ratio of your part A and your part B. Now, let's talk about the part A real quick. This is a tinted resin, and it looks like aged wood. That's the color of it. And then you mix it with part B, which is the activator, and you're on the clock for your epoxy. So what you do is once you mix it up, you pour it on the surface. Now this can go on bare wood. It can also go on old furniture. So once you pour that on, you're all good to go. Just spread it out, and after it dries, just that one coat is equivalent to 75 coats of varnish. That's impressive.
This Best New Product segment is brought to you by the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
After the break,
Then he takes a sledgehammer to the side of my house, and I thought, oh Lord, don't make Danny Lipford mad.
we're helping Dawn complete her stalled kitchen renovation. And at the end of the first day, she and her mom had lots of painting to do.
It's late at night, and she got me into this.
She loves me.
It's 7:45, it's my bedtime. And we're just getting started.
It was a long night. We might have got a little hysterical. My mom dropped a can of paint. I was just rolling on the floor laughing.
You could tell that the living room was the last room we painted because it was pretty bad. We had to go back over it again.
Okay, here on the start of day 2, all hands on deck. I'll take care of the microwave. You guys get started on the backsplash.
Yeah.
We'll get Bear started on the floor. It's on now. Let's see which one of these we're gonna have to cut out of here. Just give me a few pieces of that tape. That definitely needs to go right there.
What about the vinyl? What are we gonna do with it?
I don't know, it seems like it's stuck pretty good. I tell you what, all this cutting, there's gonna be a lot of dust here, and after all of the work they've done here, we need to try to minimize that somehow.
I think I have something for it.
While Bear MacGyvers the vacuum for his project and Stephanie paints the pantry shelves, I'm reading up on the microwave while Chelsea and Dawn get started on the backsplash.
When you normally do a tile backsplash, you're using thin set adhesive. It's a little bit messy. So we're gonna skip that step for the backsplash today by using the simple mat. So it's a double adhesive mat that sticks to the clean drywall, and then we'll get this installed all the way around the kitchen, and then later I'll show you how to install the tiles on it. So it'll be one less messy step.
Speaking of messes, Bear's contraption contains most of the dust as he cuts the grout joints around the tiles that need to be removed. That way he won't damage the rest of the floor when he chips them up. The old thin set adhesive takes a little more work. While Stephanie paints inside the pantry, I'm making an access hole behind the microwave so I can drill through the wall and mark the bricks to be cut on the outside.
Then he takes a sledgehammer to the side of my house, and I thought, oh Lord, don't make Danny Lipford mad.
So what other projects are you gonna do in your kitchen?
Well, I've really been wanting to replace this sink. The sink had been an eyesore since before I moved in, and knowing that I was gonna have this beautiful kitchen and I couldn't leave this eyesore of a sink in. And I recently actually bought a sink that I think is gonna match the tile wonderfully.
Meanwhile, the path for the vent is clear, so Bear and I can lift the microwave into its new home and trim off the vent on the outside.
All right, your turn.
Oh, okay, here we go.
One of the nice things though about the mat that we're using is that you can like pull it off and reposition it before it's permanently set.
The whole point of opening up that wall to the living room and the kitchen was so when you came in the front door, you could see into the kitchen. Well, now when you look into the kitchen, you see this beautiful backsplash.
As the first wall of backsplash is completed, the plumbers arrive to install that new sink, and it's time for us to fill in that hole in the floor with those leftover tiles.
I was cutting up in a restaurant one time, and the waitress came out and put cones all around me. I didn't think that was very funny, you know.
Well, you've told me that story, and that's why I brought the cones to
that
put
right?
around you for the tile
I
job
was
today.
wondering where those cones suddenly came from.
You know, I get questions all the time from homeowners about, can I install ceramic tile over an existing vinyl floor? Well, if you're on concrete and the vinyl is stuck really good to the floor, it's a perfect subfloor. Might even cover up a few of the cracks that may be below the vinyl on the concrete, so it's a perfect way to go. Once these tiles dry overnight, they'll be ready for grout, and so will Dawn. We're trying to force this grout down into there. So you can kind of spread it around like this. Then you go like that, see?
Gotcha.
So I would ask Dawn, I said, would you like to try to grout the floor? Yes. Would you like to try? Yes. Would you like, how about, yes. And we're out here talking, and she's in there working.
Yes.
Yes.
Now you know why you got gloves, huh?
Yes, it's a messy process.
You know, Dawn's really doing a good job grouting that floor. It really looks great.
Well, that's working out because she has a backsplash to grout too.
She can't say that she doesn't know how.
All right, you got all warmed up on the floor. So you ready to grout the backsplash?
I think so.
So you just do the same thing, but vertical.
Just work it in. Already looks so good with that gray grout. Oh my gosh, the grout, it's so beautiful. It really makes the tile pop, that contrast, and just seeing it slowly become completed to make that backsplash pop, it's just amazing.
And now all we need is a little bit of touch-up paint inside and outside to wrap this project up. When we arrived, Dawn's kitchen had been opened up to the dining and family rooms, but it was far from complete. The drywall patches were still pretty rough. There were missing baseboards everywhere. The pantry was little more than just a hole in the wall. The microwave was still in the box, and of course, there was that massive hole in the tile floor to avoid. Now, the whole space is lighter and brighter thanks to Dawn and Stephanie's impressive paintwork, which covered dozens of drywall fixes. The crown molding also ties these three rooms together, making it seem like they've always been this way, especially with the missing tile replaced. The inside of the pantry is organized and functional, but now hidden behind a brand new door, while the microwave is finally installed to vent safely to the outside. And of course, the new backsplash breathes life into the whole kitchen, creating that focal point that Dawn wanted. And we did it all for less than $1,000.
When I started this project, I wanted to take that wall down. That's really where I got literally in over my head with a wall. It was because I wanted to connect these three living spaces so I could have people over, I could cook, I could live and talk and work in these three spaces all together. That was the dream. It is just beautiful. My heart swells because I'm just so happy. It is like a dream because every time I step back, I'm like, no, this is real. You can touch the tile. You can see the crown molding. You painted that. This whole process has really given me more of a realistic eye. So when I look at a project, see all of the work that's going to go into it and understand how to prepare, what steps I need to take so that maybe next time I don't end up with sheetrock over my head or a hole in the floor for 6 months.
You know something that I really, really love? positive people, but sometimes even the most positive person can get a little negative during a home improvement project, but not these two. Dawn and Stephanie worked so hard, they were so happy and so eager to learn a lot of the things that we were able to share with them. And the end result is the same way you feel when you do any home improvement project, instant gratification. And Dawn was so happy to get this project finally complete. Hey, thanks so much for being with me and Chelsea here on today's Homeowner. We'll see you soon.
No, don't do that to me, Danny.
Old joke.
Jokes, got jokes. Don't do is shoot the host of the show with the nail gun. Pack it up.